Anything else about nutrition? Amy's the nutrition guru in the practice, so she can give you all the whole nutrition lecture.
Two little things is sugar. Sugar is the worst thing on our planet right now, and we have gone amok with sugar. And it doesn't matter if it's honey, agave, molasses, brown sugar. Sugar is sugar. And then you add the compounds in high fructose corn syrup. Look at your labels on the back of the ingredients. Be very cautious on anything that is a low-fat product, low salad dressings, anything that you see low-fat, because what the companies have done is they've taken the fat out and they've replaced it with sugar and salt to still make it palatable. You can change your taste buds. First, it starts with a really good attitude. As you walk through some of these foods that you're not accustomed to, that you got to learn to like them. And then learning to like the taste of them without all the added goop on top of it. The biggest thing is if you can get rid of the sugar foods. They add absolutely no nutritional value to your diet. Some of those have the calories of a full meal in them, especially when you get into the coffees, the frappuccinos, and you're compounding that with a diet on top of it. And some people are getting up to 2,000 calories a day just in sugary drinks. You will see the biggest impact. Sugar feeds cancer. Yes. It feeds heart disease. It hurts your kidneys. It hurts all your blood vessels. It hurts your eyes. And it makes you feel terrible. And if you're used to a sugar diet, you are addicted. And it's going to take a while to get off of it. But as you wean yourself off of it and give it a fighter's chance, you will feel better. Replace it with water.
I was reading the other day, I was reading something, and it said, if you get all the sugar out of your body, cancer cells can't live. So they love sugar.
It loves sugar. Love sugar.
You know, that's how we diagnose cancer. There's certain there's an agent that's rich in sugar that we inject, and that takes up cancer cells.
That's the thing I'll tell you is that your skin is the biggest organ in your body, and it shows what you feel like. And if your nutrition is bad, your skin is going to look shallow. It's going to look pasty. You're going to break out. You're going to have acne. All of that is sugar and our poor diet. And when you're drinking Cokes, Dr. Peppers, Gatorade, Powerades, all of that, you're missing nutrients.
Sweet tea too?
Sweet tea. Hey man, and come on now. Sweet tea is a fabulous thing, but when you load it up with sugar, you've made it bad. And juices. Juices are the worst thing on the planet. They are loaded with sugar. Some of them have more sugar than a Coke. Replace it with water. Water. Unsweet tea. If you want to get off the sweet tea,
you also look.
Sugar in it too.
Splenda does not have sugar in it. Splenda is a sugar substitute along with Sweet and Lows and all of those kinds of things. The interesting thing about Splenda, if you ever want to read a scary article, is Splenda was initially developed to be a pool cleaner. And they found that it had a sweet taste to it, and they started substituting. The only non-sugar substitute that I would recommend is stevia. Stevia is actually a plant, and it has a sweetener to it. Oh, stevia. Stevia, not Splenda. Splenda is a horrible chemical. The best thing, though, and if you think, I'm going to switch for Dr. Pepper, or diets. Diets, there has been multiple research about it, and they don't know why, but people who drink diet sodas, diet drinks on a regular basis gain more weight in the long run. There's been some that you're not really fooling your body, that you get used to the sweet taste, but it's not a safe alternative.
It's addictive too.
It's addictive.
It's addictive.
Yes.
It's addictive.
They all are. That's the chemicals. It's more
I hope we had the same. I can eat cake, but I can't have Diet Coke. I mean, I'm for real.
My husband been on Diet Dr. Pepper for years, probably 20 years. He's been off of them now for 2 weeks.
And it's hard.
It's hard.
It's
He
hard.
just went cold.
It's hard.
But he's drinking now. What the stuff is? Crystal Light, stuff like that. Cause he went out of juice. I like Coke, but I've been drinking myself too.
Crystal Light is caffeine.
Caffeine is
Oh, I ain't giving them
But you know, I had a friend, she's a nutritionist.
So how do they flavor their water, Amy? For those who just don't like plain water.
The alternatives to one, there's a few ideas. Take fruits, natural fruits, orange, yellow. It doesn't matter what fruit. To cucumbers, you can flavor it with anything you like. Find what you like. To make it a little bit more economical, take a lemon, cut it into slices, small slices. Stick it in your freezer in a bag. Then it won't go bad if you don't use it. Fill up a water jug at home in the beginning of the day. Put 1 lemon slice, orange slice, cucumber, whatever you want it. It will last the entire day. That lemon, usually you can get about 2 to 3 weeks in it. One of the favorite things that I love are cinnamon sticks. You get them in, the spice aisle. I cut them into small little pieces. A little goes a long way in this. Experiment, have fun with it. If you like that bubbly sensation of a soda, they have all these seltzer waters now. Sparkling waters. There's all sorts of different brands. That's another alternative. If you like tea, if you go into, you can go to the herbal teas. They have all different sorts of flavors and stuff. Not in the produce aisle or in the milk jug aisles. It has to be in the bags. Stick that in a water bottle. That you'll get a flavor to it. I just discovered this new thing that if you take unsweet tea, the flavored unsweet tea, and you put a little sparkling water in it, you'll get a different flavor to it. So those are some alternatives. You should be drinking 5 to 6 glasses of water a day. If you are well hydrated, you will be less hungry. Sometimes dehydration mimics hunger. And if you haven't had anything to drink through the course of a day and you're really hungry, get a glass of water first. Because sometimes that will help it. Your whole body is water, and you need to replenish it all the time. If your urine is really dark, bright yellow, drink water. It should be clear. And sometimes that will help. If your body is starving for nutrients, you're gonna feel more hungry. And then when we're real hungry, we go for whatever's easy and quick. And if we're driving by McDonald's, we go there. If we go through the vending machine. So plan ahead, make snacks, bring them to work, have them in your car with you so you're not tempted at the junk food. And then another little thing for exercise. I know it's not our favorite thing, and I know sometimes it's the last thing we want to do after a long day at work. There was a study in the past that said, this was with diabetics, but I think it will work with everybody, that if you walk for 10 minutes after each meal, that will do better to stabilize your blood sugar versus a 30-minute walk at the end of the day. When you get done with breakfast, take a walk around your house real quick or around the office. You got to walk at a huffing pace. You can't just, you need to feel a little short. Okay, but 10 minutes of the day will make a bigger impact on the life than 30 minutes. And what happens for a lot of us, I know it happens to me, I get home at the end of the day and I have great intentions, but I'm tired, kids are wanting things, and all of a sudden it's bedtime and I haven't done anything. So make a pact with your coworkers after lunch that you guys take a walk around the block real quick, because 10 minutes is not a long time. Maybe start with 5 if you feel like you can't give the whole 10.
What's the best oil to cook with?
The best absolute oil is olive oil, and it's a small amount. They can even get them in the sprays now. I would not get the sprays with the aerosols. It's not good for your pans. It puts a coating on it. It's going to ruin your pans. You can even get it into a spray bottle.
Right here.
Then canola oil. I wouldn't recommend baking baked goods with olive oil. It has a little bit of flavor to it. So you can go to avocado, walnut oils. Small is better. Of course, no deep frying.
Process.
But just keep straight.
No red palm oil?
What?
No red palm oil?
I don't know what that is. Probably not. No. Another thing is, there are things on Pinterest and Facebook all these days about coconut oil. Coconut oil is bad for you. Don't soak your teeth in it. Don't swish swallow in it. It is a saturated oil. And everything of this in moderation. Butter, all of it. And the littler, the better, you know.
What about processed foods?
If you can't read the ingredients and you can't pronounce the ingredient, get rid of it. It's a chemical. If the expiration date on something says it's good on your shelf for 6 months, it is not good for your body. There is nothing that should live on a shelf for 6 months that you're ingesting. You're putting all these chemicals into your body. The Mediterranean diet is really not it's a diet, but it's a lifestyle. There's no special, you don't have to pay money for it. You don't have to buy a meal plan for it. And it's not a gimmick, but you have to do it consistently over the life. You need to commit to these healthy foods and embrace them. I lost my train of thought. What was the question?
More
Processed food.
less processed food,
less
more from the
processed
ground, right? More from the ground of the mom.
It needs to come from the source, meaning it needs to come from the ground, or it needs to come from a mama. And the closer it is to that source, the better. Meaning it comes from the ground as a whole orange. Don't process it into orange juice. Eat it closest from the source. An orange, a banana, or an apple contains a lot of fiber in it. That helps stabilize blood sugars. That's where the nutrients are. The peels, the pit, all of that are high in nutrients. When it goes then to the juice, they take all the good stuff and they leave you just the juice. If you eat one orange, you're going to feel satisfied. Orange juice, a little glass, is like 4 oranges. And you're not going to feel satisfied because all you got was the sugar part of it. Same thing with apple juice. All of those things. You need the fruit as a whole. God gave us these fruits, these vegetables, as the whole, and we need to take them as a whole. When you're looking on the back of the ingredients labels, if there's more than about 6 ingredients on it, usually it's really processed, and we need to put it aside. Salts, sugars, there's all different. You almost need a chemistry degree to understand the labels, and that's what I'm saying. If you get it close to the source, it's cheaper, and it will be healthier for you. Fruits and vegetables, I know sometimes they're hard to come by. Get them frozen. They're a great alternative. They are picked at ripeness. Stick them in your freezer. You can add them to things. It does not have to be absolutely the fresh at the produce. And sometimes, I live in Grenada, what we get at Walmart isn't as good as what I get in the frozen. So buy that. Beans are a fabulous alternative. They are inexpensive. You can get them in the can. That's a little bit higher in salt, into the bags, into the crock pot. But all of those are great alternatives. You can't go wrong with fish. if it's not fried.
That's our type of language.
Not my versus
That's what I was saying.
Right.
Yeah.
So Amy, let's discuss type of fishes. Is it salmon? Is it?
Good to what?
Tilapia.
It's not. It's salt. It's salt. No.
Salt.
Sea salt is salt. I don't care if it's Himalayan, pink, kosher, all of that. Some of that is it. Well, there are different variations of salt from pink or wherever they dig this out of the earth. Some of it's just the coarseness of it. When you hear kosher salt, it just means it's big kernels. Salt is salt, and you need 1.5 teaspoons a day max.
Full stop.
Full stop. And that's all of it. It doesn't count if it's just, oh, I don't add it, but I eat McDonald's. If you eat McDonald's, you've had enough salt for a whole week. Salt is salt. Now there's a brand, it's called Miss Jane's, and it's mixed with some other herbs, so it kind of decreases it, but salt is salt.
Is it better to buy canned goods or frozen food? Because the canned goods have a lot of
Salt.
Okay, so it's better to get the frozen.
It is better if you're watching really salt, and since I work for a cardiologist, I have to always promote low salt. But if you're young and healthy, you don't have any health problems, a little salt sometimes in the canned food isn't going to help you rinse it off really good to try to get all that goo that it's soaking in. But the lower the salt it is, and you can train your taste buds. If you start pulling back on this stuff, all of a sudden going out to restaurants will be too high a salt.
Yeah.
So watch the ingredients. Chicken broths, all those kinds of things, really go for the low sodium. You can always add a little bit to bring up the flavor, but you can't take it away once it's in.
I have a friend.
And watch for MSG too.
She's just become a diabetic, so she's had to change everything. So she said now she doesn't drink anything but water.
Good.
And she said her taste have changed because now oranges taste like oranges and they're sweeter.
Yep. Yeah, you will learn what the taste of real food is like. And I don't think some of us really know what food tastes like because you have convinced, tricked, changed your taste buds that you're tasting salt, not really tasting the food.
Is there a real value to alkaline water?
No. Water.
What is
Water.
water? Does this cost more?
Yeah. And, you'll get, I live in Grenada and my water turns brown a lot. And it kind of creeps me out, but water from the tap normally is your healthiest bet. It goes through the water department, it's being checked all the time. All these bottled waters that we're spending a lot of money on, the bottling source opens up the tap and wherever they are and pours it in there. There's nothing special about this water. Carry water jugs like the Yeti cups and all of that kind of stuff and fill it up in your tap. Every water treatment has a little different taste to it and stuff, but 9 times out of 10, the water that you get from your faucet is the best source.
Going back to the question of fish, so is there a difference in fish in terms of like tilapia versus salmon or cod or halibut? What's the best fish?
Certain fish are a little higher in omegas. Salmon is one of them. But overall, fish is fish. The only fish I would not recommend on a regular basis is shrimp. Shrimp is very high in cholesterol, and if you have heart disease, you probably want to limit shrimp. The rest of it is all really great. It's how you bake it, how you cook it, that you want to watch it. And when you fry anything, whether the newest thing I've heard is avocado, which is a superfood, and people are frying that, you pretty much take away the nutrients. Tuna fish, in the can is good. Salmon in the can is good. Make salmon patties out of that. The pouches? The pouches. Just make sure it's in water. You might want to avoid too much tuna fish. There's some mercury in it, so don't make that, especially in children. You don't want to feed them tuna fish every single day. Have them limited. Peanut butter is a great protein if it's not Jiffy. It needs to be 100% peanuts. And you can make peanut butter. You put a bunch of peanuts, the dry roasted without the salt, put it in a blender, put it in a food processor, whip it up, and there you got peanut butter. My kids, when they were little, I used to do that, and then I'd put a little tofu in it, and I would grate zucchini in it, because zucchini has no flavor. They had no idea. And that was their peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
What about nuts? What's the most healthiest nuts?
They all have different nutrients. It's pretty much what you like. You can make a trail mix of them. You want to buy them not with salt, if you can. You can have them raw, or you can have them dry roasted. It's what you prefer in taste. You can dry roast your own nuts. Buy them in the raw. Put them in the oven, about 350 degrees. Watch them closely. You'll see that they kind of get a little darker in color. Let them cool, and they taste fabulous. You can make that into peanut butter. But nuts are very high in calories, so you need to portion control. It's what can fit in the palm of your hand. Look at portions. Even with all this healthy food, if you're taking in a lot, you're not going to lose weight if that's your goal. It's math. What you take in, you got to burn off. And so really look at the portion controls. Any big gulp size is not a good portion control for anybody.
You ever heard of the bone broth powder and the collagen powder? What's your take on that?
Bone broth is fabulous, healthy. I don't know about these powders. The easiest way to make a bone broth is you get bone-in chicken, beef, whatever it is, and you make it into a broth. You can control the sodium. Herbs, garlic, those are great when you're trying to flavor something, and it's a healthy alternative. So I would put all the bones and all that and make the soup. Do it on a weekend so it can really simmer for about 4 to 5 hours. But bone broth has collagen in it. It's better than regular broth, health-wise.